What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Rogue One, a Star Wars story. When this movie was first announced, I remember thinking to myself, wow, finally, we're going to be getting Star Wars movies that are not directly attached to the Skywalker saga and not directly attached to the episodic films. Now, I was a little scared at first. It felt like new territory, almost like a nervous kind of thing. I wasn't scared that they were going to do anything bad, but just kind of like nervous territory, like, oh my God, this is finally going to happen. What is this really going to feel like? And I remember as they started to talk about what it was going to be about and what we were going to be seeing and showing footage and showing images, I was beyond excited. Now, if you have no idea what Rogue One is about, the basic gist of it is exactly what you see at the very beginning of episode 4 in the crawl at the beginning, where it talks about a group of rebels who went to get the Death Star plans that obviously would eventually be handed off to Leia, and we already know how that story goes if you know Star Wars. So I was really curious to see how they would do this, and once they announced that they had hired Gareth Edwards, who had done the 2014 Godzilla film, I knew that at least visually this film was going to be incredibly well done. Now, I like that Godzilla film. I have not done a review for it here on this channel. I like a lot about it, but there's definitely things about it that I wasn't crazy about as far as the overall entertainment value, so I was a little worried. However, when I started to see interviews with him and with him talking about Star Wars and what it meant to him, I could tell we had somebody behind the camera who truly loves Star Wars. And with that said, I can happily say that Rogue One has become one of my favorite Star Wars movies and easily one of the best, probably like top 2 as far as the new Disney era Star Wars films. You have Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, Alan Tudyk, and people like Donnie Yen in this film. There's so many great people in the cast, and I really enjoyed this group of rebels that had to go get these Death Star plans. One of my favorite things about this film is Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso. I think she does an incredible job of really giving the story weight. There are so many moments in this film that if it wasn't for her performance, I think they would not be as strong. And I think she does such a great job of really solidifying who this character is in these moments and in this story. A character that really doesn't want to be a part of this mission. She doesn't really want to do this. And I think she does such a great job of really carrying the weight of the story as well as carrying the weight of the character. You do feel her character emotionally. You do get where she's coming from. And I think she does a great job of conveying that throughout the film. On top of Felicity Jones, like I mentioned, you have Diego Luna, who plays this character named Cassian Andor, who goes around with this Imperial droid who's been reprogrammed named K2SO, who's played by Alan Tudyk. And they're just such a funny and fun pair. Cassian is kind of this hardened rebel who's grown up since the 6 years old, just being part of the rebellion. He's been part of this fight. He hates the Empire. He has so much hatred for the Empire that he's pretty much willing to do whatever he needs to for the rebellion in order for him to, win, essentially, for the rebellion to win and for the Empire to die. And that's something I really, really enjoy. And I think with a character so dark and serious, you definitely need somebody to kind of bring in some levity there, and that's where you have K2SO, this Imperial reprogrammed droid. He's hilarious. He kind of just says whatever comes to his mind immediately. He's kind of like the more sarcastic opposite side of like a C-3PO. I just always really enjoyed his character. This film has so much rewatch value to me, and it's so funny because the events of this film really don't go anywhere outside of this film itself, but they did such a great job of making it feel like an in-the-moment story. Practically, this film is gorgeous. The special effects, the CGI, the practical effects, the set design, the costume design. On a visual level, this movie is damn near perfect, and I never ever get bored of watching this movie, and that is a genuine answer. I have such a good time with it. Outside of the great performances and the incredible special effects and visuals, this is easily one of the most action-packed Star Wars films. This film is really about people with boots on the ground, just going around with blasters and having to fight this war without having any superpowers. And that's something I really enjoy about this movie, is that you have these really grounded characters in this really grounded situation. And it shows us the side of the rebellion where you really, what are these people doing that don't have powers? We always follow the Jedi. We always follow these main characters who have abilities or some sort of cool technology. Whereas in this case, these are just a ragtag group of people who are in this really shitty situation and now have to fight their way through this in order to make the rebellion succeed and bring down the Empire. And I really don't want to get too much deeper into any of the story or the spoilers. There are some great moments in this. There are some great visual moments. There are so many cameos and little connections and connective pieces all over here for Star Wars fans. And even if you're not a diehard Star Wars fan and those things go over your head, there are so many other little things in here for you. There's great visuals, like I said, great costume design, great set design, great performances, and a really compelling story that I feel does a great job of setting up the events of A New Hope. I think that this film plays perfectly right before the events of A New Hope. You could watch this film and Episode 4 A New Hope right after it, and they play perfectly into each other. I never get tired of watching this, and I highly recommend Rogue One, A Star Star Wars story. Hey guys, and I'm adding this in really quickly. This is during the editing process, and I was watching my review back, and I thought to myself, there's one thing I did not mention that I don't like about this film. It's one of my biggest negatives, because I just feel like it doesn't really go anywhere. There's a scene that takes place with the character of Bodhi Rook in this film, and it's a scene between him and this creature called Mugullet, and if you've seen it, I don't really want to get into any spoilers, but the scene just feels out of place. It really doesn't feel like the events of that scene really go anywhere throughout the rest of the film. And anytime I watch it, I always wonder, why is that scene there? So yeah, that's my one negative I wanted to throw in here. Thank you guys for watching. So yeah guys, what did you think about this movie? Let me know. Did you like this film? Do you not like this film? Where does it sit for you as far as your Star Wars ranking? Leave your thoughts down below. Make sure you guys hit that like button, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.